Mike Vick as the head coach at Sacramento State. A lot of rumors flying around. What are your thoughts?
There's definitely a lot of buzz. He hasn't officially been offered the position yet, though, but it says something about what the program wants to do.
Their athletic director, Mark Orr, even said there's a crazy amount of national interest in this coaching search.
It's not the usual people showing interest either. We're seeing people with experience in the NFL, the Power 4 programs, and even in the FCS. It's pretty unusual.
I'm surprised Vick's being considered for 2 head coaching jobs, both at Sacramento State and Norfolk State. He hasn't officially coached since retiring back in 2015.
Well, maybe that's not such a big deal. Someone like Vick, he's a big name. That can really help a program trying to make a name for themselves, especially somewhere like Sacramento State. They're looking to move up.
You mean to the FBS?
That's right. They're building a new stadium. They've got over $50 million for NIL funds. It shows they really want to take the program to the next level. Having someone famous like Vick in charge, well, that could get people excited, get them paying attention.
We can't ignore the issues from his past, though. His involvement in that dogfighting operation and then going to prison. That'll be a problem for some people.
No question about it. That part of his life, people will always look at it closely, and they should. But you also have to look at what he's done since he got out of prison in 2009. He's worked to rebuild his reputation. He speaks out against animal cruelty now.
Right. He's said he's sorry for what happened, and he's working with different organizations that help animals.
It's a complicated situation. There are no easy answers. People will feel differently about what he did, and if he's done enough to make up for it. Sacramento State's got a tough choice to make. Do they go with someone famous who can bring a lot of attention? Or do they avoid the potential problems that come with his past?
Definitely a lot to think about.
Yeah.
It's got to make their decision even harder because they're really trying to get to the FBS.
No doubt. They've got the new stadium being built and all that NIL money. They need someone who can take all of that and make it work. Someone to lead them into this new chapter. They really can't afford to mess this up.
And they need to do it quickly. The transfer portal is open right now, so they have to keep their current players happy and show new players what the future looks like.
It's a big decision, for sure. It will affect who they can get to play for them, how they do in their conference, and even how people see them nationally. Yeah, they've got a lot riding on this decision, for sure.
So if they do go with Vick, how do you think he'd handle being a head coach? He was an amazing player, but is that enough?
It's tough to say, honestly. He was incredible to watch, so exciting on the field. But being a leader is about more than just talent. You've got to have a strategy. You got to be able to teach the players, get them to believe in you, get them playing well together. Being a great player doesn't automatically mean you can do all of that.
There's a ton of pressure in college football. Fans want to win, the competition is tough, and Sacramento State wants to prove they belong, right?
Oh, yeah. They're not just happy to be there. They want to win games, make a name for themselves. Moving up to the FBS is a big deal. They need the right person in charge to make that work.
And coaches have to deal with the transfer portal now. That's going to make it harder to put together a good team, right?
Absolutely. Coaches have to be able to adapt. It's a whole new game. You got to be good at recruiting, getting new players, developing the players you have, make sure everyone's happy, and create a culture where everyone wants to win.
So when it comes to recruiting, how do you think high school players will feel about Vick? Will his name help them get players or scare them away?
That's a really good question. It could go either way. On the one hand, everyone knows his name. He played in the NFL. That could get players excited, make them want to be part of the program. His story might even inspire some players who see him as someone who overcame a lot to get where he is.
But you're saying there's another side to it.
Yeah, I mean, some players and their families might not be comfortable with his past. It depends on what's important to them. Some people might be really inspired by his story, how he came back from everything. Others might not want anything to do with someone who did what he did.
Sounds like Sacramento State needs to really think about how they'd handle all of that.
For sure. It's a balancing act. The good things he brings with his fame and the bad things that come from his past, they really have to figure out if it's all worth it.
In the end, it comes down to whether they think Vick is the best guy to lead their program.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. There's no clear answer. We'll just have to wait and see what Sacramento State does.
It's interesting, how this is about so much more than just football.
You're right. It is. It's about real people. You've got Vick trying to rebuild his life. You've got the coaches and players at Sacramento State, all with their own hopes and dreams. Whatever decision they make, it's going to affect a lot of people.
This isn't just about a game. It's about building something, shaping the future of the program, helping coaches and players have successful careers. It could even affect the community around the university.
It really is. It's about what the university stands for, what kind of place they want to be, and finding the right person to lead them.
Someone to get everyone excited, work hard, and deal with all the challenges.
Someone who can build a team that wins, a real community, and someone who represents the university in the right way. It's a tough job, but there's a lot to gain if they find the right person.
While we wait to see what they decide, what do you think is the most important thing for Sacramento State to think about?
Well, there's a lot that goes into it. It's not a simple decision.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing is finding someone who really represents what the university stands for, their values. Whether they pick Vick or someone else, whoever they choose, is going to tell us a lot about what they care about, what their vision is for the future.
It's crazy how this whole coaching search has got so many people talking about all these different things.
It shows you what's going on in the world today, sports, social issues, second chances. It's all mixed up in this one situation. It's really interesting to see.
Sacramento State's at a turning point. Whoever they hire as coach is going to have a big impact on their program.
It's a tough spot for them. They want to be successful, but they also have to be responsible. And everybody's watching them, the whole country.
That's got to make it even harder knowing everyone's looking at what they do.
That's how it is. Every decision you make, there are consequences. That's what leadership's all about, making those tough decisions and doing the right thing, even when it's hard.
So as we wrap this up, what's the one thing you want people to think about as this story continues?
I think it's important to remember that there's more to leadership than just winning games. It's about who you are as a person, what you believe in, and how you inspire other people, even when things get tough.
It's also about making those big decisions that can change things.
Exactly. Decisions that affect the whole program, everyone involved with it, their lives. This whole situation, it shows just how important those decisions are.
This has been a really interesting conversation. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts.
I enjoyed it.
Thanks everyone listening for joining us.